One might say that you would call this a bad built Butch Bill. Go on, Elise.
Okay, Jonathan Capehart, I see you. Bad Built Butch Bill. It works for me. And you know what? It's accurate. You know, it is bad built and butch. That's pretty much what Elon been saying all week. Musk, you know you could use some writers on your Twitter feed. Hit up Jonathan Capehart. Hey, shout out to all of the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. I am Reese Waters, and this is Street Politics. Now, I come bearing good news to all of you who bet on who the first representative is who would use a Jerry Springer gif to describe what's happening at the higher levels of our government between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Well, we have our winner. Jasmine Crockett herself posted, "So I heard Republicans are confused and waiting for Jerry Springer to tell them who their daddy is before any legislation can move. Is Elon their daddy or Trump?" Now, do you think a Jerry Springer guest would even claim Republicans at this particular point in time? I have to think even the mama would claim that is not theirs in this scenario. And also, who would you want to be your dad? I mean, we've seen the relationship between Elon and his kids. Yeah, 13 S's. Now 14. And then we've seen Donald Trump and his relationship with his kids. And yes, I'm looking at you, Tiffany. Elon Musk got so many kids. You wonder if he had like a dedicated dressing room at the Jerry Springer show? Like they put the tape over it and they put the new name on there, but then they take it off and it just says Elon, like permanently.
Elon is looming over every single Doge hearing. You know why? Because that's supposedly what Elon was heading up. But now they don't want to talk about Elon because Elon now is a little upset. There's a family spat that's obviously going on, and it is going to play out, it seems like, all over Twitter.
That's right. As I have so emblazoned on a t-shirt, his mama named it Twitter. I'ma call it Twitter. So take that, Elon. And are we in a we don't want to talk about Elon state at this point in time with the GOP? Like he's reached Bruno status in Encanto. We just not even going to talk about him?
One might say that you would call this a bad built Butch Bill. Go on, Elise.
Okay, Jonathan Capehart, I see you. Bad Built Butch Bill. It works for me. And you know what? It's accurate. You know, it is bad built and butch. That's pretty much what Elon been saying all week. Musk, you know you could use some writers on your Twitter feed. Hit up Jonathan Capehart.
Your thoughts on Elon Musk and his departure from Washington?
Hallelujah is what I gotta say. Is it Sunday? Let us all give thanks to the good Lord above.
Hey, y'all keep it down. I'm trying to listen to the Congresswoman. No, I already gave. I did it online. No, pass the plate.
Listen, let me tell you something. He is gone, but the Musk is still going to linger in the air. We know, as you went through in your intro, that there are so many people that have been impacted by these ridiculous and not thought out cuts. And it's not just the federal workers. It's those constituents of ours, our citizens, that are being impacted the hardest by these cuts. And so here it is. You basically let this guy run wild. And honestly, I feel like all of the cuts to federal employees, that was nothing more than a distraction for the things that he really wanted to do, which is to make sure that there was no oversight over his companies, the companies that were under investigation. This was to kind of keep us busy and distracted. And unfortunately, in the process, we have harmed our federal government, and ultimately we are harming our overall economy.
And to her point about the Musk still lingering, and boy, haven't we all been there. I had somebody get in my car one time, and I had to keep my windows down for 6 weeks in order to wash that whole thing out. Who knows how long it's going to take for us to smell fresh air in DC again. But keep in mind that Musk turning Springer on Trump doesn't undo any of the cuts and the lives that he's affected along the way. Not to mention the fact that we don't even know what the full ramifications would be with all of the sensitive information that he had access to, as she just outlined, with absolutely no oversight. It would be appalling if not for the rampant grift going on with his bedmate.
Let's talk about some of the things that we should be talking about. And you know what? Every time I come in here, I really do wonder, what is the point? Like, why are we here? Because it doesn't seem like we're doing efficiency, right? Like, have we seen Elon? No. Have we seen anybody that works for Doge? No. But we're in the Doge subcommittee and we're talking to everybody but the Doge people. So to hear the comments about Stacey Abrams, it really got me going. And a lot of times when we come into this hearing room, it's all about politics. And it made me think that there was an issue most likely with Stacey, because someone actually brought up the fact that Stacey has run for governor a couple of times. And it seems like there's a gubernatorial race that's coming up in Georgia and nobody knows whether or not Stacey is going to run. So why not muddy the water if we can to hopefully keep a strong Black woman down? But again, I digress. So let's talk about the things that we could be talking about while we sit here in the Doge committee. It seems like we could be talking about, things like efficiency or oversight. When announcing this hearing, the chairwoman stated the Doge subcommittee would, quote, continue bringing long overdue transparency and accountability to those who abuse tax dollars. But so far this Congress, Republicans have focused their oversight responsibilities on things like defunding Big Bird, as well as attacking, of course, trans kids, because they're really the big threat that we have. We could be talking about how the Trump administration is ignoring these court orders, supporting American citizens, or targeting members of Congress for prosecution, or how Trump signed an order deregulating the cryptocurrency industry just as his family launched a digital currency. We could be having a hearing on how Trump fired members of the National Labor Relations Board for bringing a suit against Elon Musk, or how the Trump administration dismantled the Office of the Federal Contract Compliance while the office was investigating Tesla for alleged racial harassment, or how Trump dropped lawsuits against numerous large companies after they donated to his inaugural fund. We could have a hearing on whether Trump violated the emoluments clause when he not only, it seemed like he asked for a $400 million jet from a foreign government. Trump has put a for sale sign on the lawn of the White House and has allowed wealthy donors to dictate how the government operates.
Congresswoman, I know you cooking. You cooking right now. I think Miss Stansberry's asleep. Yeah, I think she's asleep behind, and she right there in frame. So you just get her some smelling salts. So just throw some smelling salts up there. Just help her out a little bit.
That's what we should be having a hearing about. But nope. They're here attacking nonprofits that deliver food to seniors and disabled folk, provide childcare and elder care for working families, job training for teens, and shelter for the unhoused.
Thank you, Ms. Norton. Thank you. Solid. Oh, sorry. As you were, Ms. Crockett.
The Republicans and their witnesses have accused nonprofits of being, quote, radical and, quote, addicted to government money. And listen, I try to find agreement where I can. So I am going to say that I absolutely do agree with that statement to a certain extent, because there is a nonprofit by the name of the Heritage Foundation. And last time I checked, the Heritage Foundation, they are the authors of Project 2025. And we are living through the hell of Project 2025 right now. And something tells me that that's a bit of a partisan thing, because they said it was the conservative playbook. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't know why we would ever look at the Heritage Foundation and think that it's anything but radical and, quote, addicted to government money, potentially.
Hey, Trump, yeah, hey, you remember when you threatened to cut off all that government welfare for Elon Musk? Yeah, we got a couple more suggestions over there. We got a couple more suggestions. It ain't as much fun when the rabbits got the gun now, isn't it? And I certainly would love to hear more from those Republicans. And wasn't that you, Ashley Henson? I would love to hear more from the Republicans who talk about how blue states shouldn't get money. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, it's not sounding good. Cause y'all still expecting the federal funds to flow now, ain't you? But then again, I understand, Maga, consistency has never been your strong suit. That's why you're dealing with such an existential crisis right now between mama and daddy. Actually, Elon Musk claims he's not the father. Oh, that was in his auto drafts? Oh, so he just automatically says he's not the father every 6 months?
So, Miss Yentl, before I do that, I'm going to come to you because I want to make sure that I get these things on record. I have a unanimous consent, Madam Chair. It says Donald Trump allegedly asked aides whether Elon Musk's Doge promises were all bull, and then you know what the rest of it is. Unanimous consent?
Without objection.
Thank you so much. I have another one from CBS News. Despite Trump's promised cuts, U.S. spent more than $200 billion more in the first 100 days than last year.
Without objection.
If some reason we focused on some efficiency, we may have more money to work towards this deficit that some of my colleagues say that they're concerned about. And I guess, Ms. Yentl, I'm gonna run out of time, because if we were gonna focus on this deficit, then maybe you wouldn't have your own friends coming out and talking about how we're gonna have to lift the debt ceiling $5 trillion, because how else can we pay for the billionaires to keep more money in their pockets? Thank you, and I will yield.
Ooh, that was devastating. And shout out to Jasmine Crockett for getting that on the record. And I do believe that was Marjorie Taylor Greene, was it not? Was that Marjorie Taylor Greene? Yeah. Hey, keep them feet away from me. Now I will turn this camera around.
Is there any reason for folks to anticipate that at some point the Congress or someone will be able to claw back some of these jobs and policies that people really need around the country?
I mean, would you really want to work for the federal government at this moment? I mean, like let's be honest.
Yeah.
In reality, we have been down as it relates to some of our federal workforce anyway. This is one reason that the Biden-Harris administration invested so much money in the Inflation Reduction Act when it came to the IRS, because they wanted to make sure that those people that were best trained to do those complicated audits of people's taxes, basically the very, very rich, making sure that we had the best of the best to make sure that we could bring in additional income. In addition to that, while we've been talking about the reconciliation package and we've been talking about the cuts and how many people are going to potentially lose their health care or how many people are going to lose food off of their tables, one of the things that we've not been able to do, because there's, again, still so much in this terrible bill, is talk about things that happened in the Oversight Committee, such as deciding that they don't want federal government employees to have the protections that the federal court has acknowledged and said, hey, you've got to reinstate these federal employees. Instead, they want to change federal employees to at will. So a lot of the things that once attracted people to want to come and work for the federal government, they are disappearing as well as making them pay more into their FERS. So it's absolutely insane, and nobody wants to come work for us right now.
And isn't that such a dilemma? Right? Because you want good people back in the federal government, but understand they're going to be working for a reality TV star, or in some instances, a 22-year-old with no experience whatsoever. And we understand that anything that goes wrong or off the rails due to their complete lack of experience and know-how will be laid at your feet, and they will take credit for anything that actually works out. There's literally no upside in doing it other than out of a duty to either your occupation or to the country, which is one of those reasons why I salute all of those people over at NIOSH who are working to get their jobs back and pushing for new legislation for the coal miners. That's a story that I covered right here previously.
This morning, 100 days into President Trump's second term, and these 8 retired miners, all who say they have black lung disease, and most of whom voted for the president, now with a plea for help.
There is no block of coal worth any man's life or woman's.
Many here concerned after 10,000 recent firings at the Department of Health and Human Services virtually eliminated the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, or NIOSH, tasked with protecting miners from black lung. And the enforcement of a new federal rule cracking down on dangerous rock dust directly tied to the disease also now paused. At this West Virginia dining room table, we found former NIOSH employees now mounting a last-minute pressure campaign to save their agency. And they say the lives of the miners it protects.
If there was a miner sitting here, what would you say to them about what this is going to look like for them going forward?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry for their families.
And then you also have the characterization from the GOP of the federal workers. You have Alina Habba going in and talking about people not wanting to show up to work.
Starting to think about maybe some of those veterans who worked for the federal government and maybe what the administration can do to at least help salvage their lives.
Well, as you know, we care about veterans tremendously. I mean, that's something the president has always cared about. Anybody in blue, anybody that serves this country. But at the same time, we have taxpayer dollars. We have a fiscal responsibility to use taxpayer dollars to pay people that actually work. That doesn't mean that we forget our veterans by any means. We are going to care for them in the right way, but perhaps they're not fit to have a job at this moment or not willing to come to work.
And then we get people like Senator Jim Banks, who calls them woke jobs.
My comments were directed at this fellow, who can't even explain what his job was. It was a woke job that wasted taxpayer dollars, and I'm thankful that President Trump eliminated that job.
I'm genuinely asking, how do you know what job he has or had?
He can't explain it. I've read online what he had to say about his job. It doesn't make sense.
They're woke jobs because you lost him. He literally had no idea what you did. And in fact, it turns out that the person who he characterized as having a woke job was looking for fraud and waste. Yeah, but it's a woke job because you ain't got it. I mean, really, who really wants to do that now? It's like dating Offset now, or like trading for Kevin Durant now. I'm gonna lose my DC card for that one, ain't I?
Congresswoman, yesterday in the Oval Office, it didn't exactly sound like Trump and Elon Musk were completely breaking up. He sounded like he might still be lingering in some unofficial capacity. Yet, he had to end his special. He was at the final day as a special employee. How is the House Oversight Committee going to keep holding Doge and Elon Musk accountable?
You said keep. We never started. Doge was just a little pet project for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be able to say, hey, they gave me something. I've got a gavel.
Now, I was going to let it go when they talked about Elon Musk's status as a special employee, like the specialist boy. You are a special boy. But then Marjorie Taylor, I have a gavel. They had to give her something. I think they gave her that just to get her from hanging out outside of people's offices that actually had legitimate legislating to do. Like we gotta come up. You know what I mean? Give her a Doge, huh? Nancy Mace, put her on bathroom duty.
And so, the last Doge hearing that we had, it was on trans folk doing fencing. We were talking to people that don't get any federal dollars whatsoever, and dealing with that. We have a Doge subcommittee hearing coming up, and it's to talk about NGOs and basically to go after them. We have had a hearing on PBS and talk about why it's important to quote unquote defund PBS. We've not dealt with those things. We have tried to subpoena Elon Musk before. The Republicans did not want to do that. I don't know why you wouldn't want to have your main man come in and tell us about all the great work that he's doing, unless he absolutely isn't doing any great work.
And this point cannot be hammered home enough. There's a reason why I call this segment Street Politics. If you mean to tell me that this man is coming in to knock out waste, fraud, and abuse, to really dig into the accounting. And one point that we've already raised is the idea that if you are actually going in and going line by line and trying to find waste, fraud, and abuse, that you would bring in accountants instead of programmers and hackers. So that's number one. But number two, would you not want to parade your cuts in front of the world in a way that they can look and feel and beat your chest. It's a reason why the cops always have the sticks and stems on the table. They have the bricks of stick. At least it was sticks and stems in my day. I don't know what they got going on now. That stuff they got going on now would make you leave Earth. We had sticks and stems. They put the sticks and stems on the table because they want the credit for their work. If you had even an ounce of integrity about this job, you would be the first one screaming from the rooftops at what you found, and you would show your work as boldly and as loudly and as many times as you possibly can. But he don't even want to come in to testify and dunk on the Democrats who so fattened the government that he needed to be brought in to rectify it. Is that what you're telling me? Because one thing that I know and understand is if you can't show your work, that's because you ain't do it. I didn't slide through grade school for nothing.
Listen, I think that unfortunately, we're going to have to wait until the Democrats are in the majority, which will hopefully be in the midterms. And then we can absolutely bring Elon Musk in and we can have him under oath and we can have him tell us about everything that he did. Because as I've been home this week, to hear from my seniors that are concerned and don't have answers about how much information he had access to and what he did with that sensitive information, they are scared.
Congressman, have a listen to what Elon Musk had to say in an interview on Tuesday about his thoughts on the so-called big, beautiful bill that was passed by the House.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both.
Congresswoman, I have no question. Just hold forth.
I'm gonna watch more of this. Just go. You got it. Hey. You got the juice now, Jazzy.
Listen, I mean, I'm not necessarily besties with Elon, but when I can agree, I'm just going to agree because it's just the truth. The reality is that we saw when this bill passed the House, which it barely made it over the finish line, 215 to 214, we know that there were 2 Republicans that somehow went MIA. We know that 2 Republicans voted with us, and then we know that 1 Republican just voted present. And let me just tell you, even if a Republican voted with us, it wasn't for the same reasons, okay? But we got to the same result, which is that this is a big, bad bill.
And while their dissension is significant and welcome, that is not a point that we should forget. That is one thing that I've outlined in all of this Elon Musk content. He's not upset that people are losing health care. No. He's upset that more people aren't losing health care. Let's get that straight.
Their reasons for saying, you know what, we're not going to vote for this is because they still want to raise the debt ceiling by $5 trillion. And so what I have explained to people is that the cuts that they want to give to the rich folk in this country are so deep that even after cutting almost 14 million people off their health care and cutting over $300 billion out of SNAP benefits, as well as all the other ugly stuff. And we don't talk about the fact that they want to have this big chunk of money so that ICE agents can get approximately $42,000 a piece in a bonus. So we had money that was going up for crazy stuff. And then we also, of course, had to set aside enough money so that somebody could go golfing. I believe that the number may be $1 billion or so over the 4 years for him to be able to go golfing. This doesn't really make sense. And frankly, nobody has asked for these things to be their priorities. But there are fiscal, responsible Republicans that are saying, listen, I don't think they really care about the cuts, but they absolutely care about the fact that we still are needing to lift the debt ceiling and honestly have nothing to show for it.
That's not true. That's not true, Jasmine. I brought this up to you before. I got to call balls and strikes. You said we walking away with nothing. He done picked up a couple of them trophies since he been golfing. That they give him just for showing up and say that he won. But we got a couple trophies, and because he was playing on behalf of the American people. So really, there are trophies. You know, I should be able to display it in the background one of these days. You know, I guess it's going to make its rotation around like the Stanley Cup. I appreciate that she brings up the golf regularly, you know, while we're talking about waste, fraud, and abuse, because we all know how that would have landed with them if Biden was doing something like that. But it was something else that she said. She was talking about the bonus to the ICE agents, right? These wouldn't happen to be the same ICE agents that Kristi Noem said included J6ers now, would it?
Is it true that the Department of Homeland Security is charged with keeping our homeland safe?
Yes.
And so would we want people convicted of invading the most sacred monument in our homeland to be then responsible for keeping our homeland safe? Is that what this bill prevents?
That's what this bill prevents, Mr. Goldman.
All right, thank you. I yield back.
Now, there is irony, there is hypocrisy, and there is allowing pardoned J6ers who you wipe the slate clean while you continue to double down on being the party of law and order and weaponize and politicize anything that anybody brown might think about doing, hiring them as ICE agents and giving them a bonus while we're trying to find cuts in our government, giving them a bonus to go through the communities and rid them of immigrants while we just brought in the white South Africans. All of that, huh? Oh, they reversing the white South Africans? Oh, just the one? You've been talking to Steve Bannon, ain't you? Y'all ain't slick. Y'all ain't slick.
As Stuart Stevens talked back in January, I don't know why we haven't had a full investigation. Look, if you're going to deport illegal aliens, you got to deport illegal aliens. The good go with the good, you know, the goose and the gander. They got to go back to this, as Stuart Stevens talked about, and go through everything about his immigration status. I happen to believe, given the facts that I've been shown, that he's an illegal alien, and illegal aliens got to be deported.
Now, well, he got to be here. He got to be here on Monday because he's going on Springer. So I know he can't leave before that. Oh, they gonna have him via satellite? Oh, this should be good. I don't think I ever seen a satellite. I don't think they were making shows during the pandemic. This would be good. I want to see if he can stay in frame when he does his little flip, if he's not the pappy.
When it comes to 2-week-old Mia, Anthony, you are not the father.
The only reason we can now send America astronauts into space.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you got a chance to catch the live premiere. As I mentioned last time, I premiere all of my videos and I love the opportunity to chat with you guys while you are seeing the content for the first time. And we keep those chats going over on Patreon, where we have the community chats. All you need to participate is an account, which you can sign up for free over at patreon.com/Reese Waters. So get yourself an account, jump in the chat, and while you're there, take a look around and let me know what you think of the place. We also offer all the same benefits that are available here on membership on Patreon as well. Now, I'll be honest. I have been working a lot. I've been out here working like Tommy from Martin.
If you can't find any work, I'll put in a good word for you at my job, man. You ain't got no job, man!
I've been making so much content that we've had to put out multiples a day some days, or as I call it, BOGO. So be on the lookout for additional notifications. Just because you've seen one video come out doesn't mean another one might not. And those of you early birds, of which I am not one, you are in luck, because I do want to try out dropping some videos in the morning, because I know you guys like to watch content early in the morning. Now, that also gives me the opportunity to put out some behind the scenes content, so you members be on the lookout for that, as well as some interviews. I'm going to be bringing those to you as well.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live.
But when it comes to exactly how we got to a point of producing so much content, so many people went into this, but I want to give some special love to our researcher on the channel, Regina. You guys know her and you love her, and here she is right here. Shout out to her supporting the channel, which, by the way, this shirt and a whole lot more is available at reesewaters.com, so make sure you check that out. But as long as she's still out here doing her thing, I'm going to be out here doing my thing. There's a whole lot more to come. Don't make me go to the Trump.